Welcome to another edition of our Beyond the Numbers video interview series, where we talk to Valley leaders about what advice they would have for themselves if they could go back and why they love accounting. Today, we're speaking with Nathan Phelps. Nathan is a tax director, cost segregation at the National Cost Segregation Services. I wanted to bring Nathan on because he has an interesting background in that he started in more traditional accounting with some well-known large companies here in the Valley. He then went into more business consulting, and now he's doing cost segregation. So, Nathan, are you ready to get going?
Absolutely.
All right. So tell us, what advice would you have for yourself if you could go back to when you were a staff or senior accountant?
Thinking back to that time, I think that I wish that I had understood, and I would advise anybody that's at that point in their career to understand that the career is a lot more broad than it seems when you're coming out of college. You know, I remember in college, you know, we'd have the career days and everything, and they would always be focused on public accounting. You know, those were the people that would come to try to recruit, and it caused me, I didn't want to go into public accounting, so it caused me to second guess my career choice and my degree choice. I would just, if I could give myself some advice, however many years ago that was, 15 years ago, I'd say, this is what you like to do, and there are opportunities for you. Even if you don't see those opportunities right away, they're there.
Would you have, because you started in more traditional accounting, month-end close financial statements, things like that, do you think you would have gotten into more specialized accounting sooner than that? Or are you glad that you started out more generalist?
I think I would have been fine either way. I just kind of went where the opportunity was. Since everything's worked out for me just fine, I'm glad that I made all the decisions that I did, you know, because I'm happy with where I'm at now. But getting that experience with with the big Fortune 500 company right off the bat in just the corporate accounting department was very valuable. And so, I wouldn't say that I wish I had started out more specialized. I think it's very valuable to get broader experience.
Okay. Now, you did bring up public accounting, and you did not go into public accounting. You said you didn't want to go into public accounting. I guess what was when you're in college, like especially if you go to BYU, ASU, U of A, whatever, you're hit up, like, you got to go into public accounting. You got to go into public accounting, right? But there are alternatives out there. What made you go into industry and not public accounting?
So for my life situation at the time, by the time I graduated, I was married and my wife had just had our first baby a few months before I graduated. And I just decided long before graduation that the schedule and the life of a public accountant it wasn't for me. The long hours, especially with big four firms, everything that I had heard. Obviously, I never worked there, so I never experienced it myself, but everything that I'd heard was that it is really just insane hours at certain times of the year. And I wanted to be there for my wife and kid. And so that was the main reason, was just the time.
Right. Okay. But you've done some really cool things. I mean, and you went and got your CPA. And like I said, you've worked for some great companies, done business consulting. So you don't always need to start your career in public accounting.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, that was one of the big things that I misunderstood. Being in college was that you really don't have to start out that way. I did an internship at a public accounting firm, a small public accounting firm, during my senior year, and enjoyed that. But it also reaffirmed to me that, seeing the lifestyle and, the insane hours that they worked during busy season, it reaffirmed to me that I didn't want to do that.
All right. So next question. Why do you love accounting, or what value has accounting added for you in your career?
Well, why do I love accounting? I've just got it just fits with my brain and my personality, I guess. Even before I decided to go into accounting, when I was in college, just doing the general stuff before I had to decide on a major, I had discovered that I loved budgeting.
Okay.
And
okay.
So I got, after I got married and kind of establishing the household budget and everything, I was poking around in Excel and had never really been exposed to it, and was just blown away by how fun it was. So that was really where I realized, maybe accounting is for me. And then when I started taking the classes, realized I really enjoyed it. So, so I love accounting because for one thing, I recognize the importance of it. Businesses don't succeed without having good accounting records. And so, so there's meaning in that way. And also I just find it fun.
Well, but then it also helps you personally. Like you said, you got started doing your personal budget. So the more that you understand about finances and, revenues in, revenues out, or expenses out, whether it's, business or personal. Yeah. I don't talk to many people that do cost segregation. How did you get into it?
Yeah. And this goes to one of the biggest pieces of advice that I would give to anybody considering this career, or I guess any career, is just get to know people, as many people as you can. Don't just get in your comfortable bubble and be satisfied with it. Always, no matter what position you're in, always try to get to know as many people as possible. And really that's how I ended up here, is just talking with people and having a network, so I, after, my career has taken some unexpected turns, but I guess just cutting to how I got here. I was working at, I hesitate to call it a tax firm. We did a lot of business consulting and tax and accounting. In that process, I became really familiar with tax a lot more than I had the opportunity to do previously in my career. And after having that exposure, just a friend of mine found out, that I was kind of in that industry, that part of the accounting industry now. And then he approached me and asked me if I would be interested in getting into cost segregation. And at first I thought, no, that's too specialized. But over the course of a couple of years of, conversations here and there, ultimately it started appealing more and more to me. So, I just ended up here because of some connections.
Oh, that's cool. Well, yeah, and you did most people start in tax and then moved to accounting. You kind of did the other way. You started in accounting and then moved into tax. So
yeah.
But again,
and that certainly came with its challenges. So
right. Okay. All right, Nathan. Any other pieces of advice you have today?
I don't think so. Just keep options open, get to know people, and just know that there are a ton of opportunities out there.
Okay. All right. Those are good pieces of advice. We appreciate your time, and stay tuned for another edition of our Beyond the Numbers series, where we talk to Valley leaders about what advice they have and why they love accounting. Thanks, Nathan.
You're welcome.